Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mirror Recap. I'm here with the boys. We got Cheffihn, who didn't use Head and Shoulders, clearly. Brother's scratching his head for some reason. I got Arashi here as well. We got the boys here to talk about what happened in the last week of MPL ID and MPL Philippines. We're going to be talking about that a little bit here and there. And I'm not going to ask how y'all doing because I know y'all doing good. We've already spoken quite a bit before we started this podcast, man. But before we start this video, a huge shout out to Asus for powering this video and all future Mirror Recaps this season. Let's get straight to the topics, man. New format, by the way, for the Mirror Recap. We're not going to talk about the same old teams every single week anymore, especially now in week 6.
Nice.
Navi, we're tired of you. A few of the other teams, we're tired of you talking about the same thing every week. So
It's personal.
yeah, it's personal for Navi, but it's personal because you're about to crack my boy's record. That ain't cool, man. All right, we're going to start with YEB effect is real. Now, this is a big one because I saw a lot of people, like when YEB was announced to be back as interim head coach, a lot of people in the comment section, a lot of people everywhere were just saying that, nah, the players are the problem. Like, yes, the draft was a problem, but YEB can't correct everything. I was one of the guys that said, nah, YEB is Onic Jesus, bro. Like, he is the god of Onic. He will create that kind of impact. What do you think?
You're asking me first?
Yeah.
Well, I was doubting, not gonna lie.
He was
Like,
one of the doubters.
What can a single guy do to a whole franchise and the way they play?
Yeah.
And apparently I was corrected. Well, the first match that they played, what was it? Against TLID.
TLID, yep.
Well, the draft was a bit normal.
Yeah.
Like, I can see Adi would draft that even without YEB.
Yep.
But the second match is eye-opening.
Argue?
Yeah, for sure. For second game and third game, especially the export pick, like, I don't think, with all due respect, I don't think Adi would pull that in the first phase. It's just so genius, I guess.
It's so crazy because I don't think anyone would have would have picked up Xborg first phase. No one would have expected Xborg anyways, you know? Like, would any coach go for, like, the ones in Indo, right? Pick an Xborg in the first phase. Like, even Kescute, usually he leaves those kind of picks in the second phase where it gets kind of crazier. BTR, they would choose the Ruby Gold in the second phase. They wouldn't pick it up early, you know? But I guess it was just because, like, they knew that this was a very good flex pick, and it actually worked out because they baited out so many bans from RQ. Because even RQ were like, nah, there's no way Kyrie, the assassin man, will be the one playing the Xborg. So it was so genius.
Yeah, because for me personally, I think logically speaking, since back then, Onic has always been a team that can perform really well, even on drafts that are less than ideal, to put it that way.
Yep.
So the fact that they were unable to do so leads us to believe, or leads a lot of people to believe that, hey, it's not just a draft, because back then they got shit drafts, they can still win the game.
That's true. That's
such
true.
a Onic thing back then. Like, dude, they're not supposed to win. What is this draft?
Very
And
Onic.
somehow, because of the execution, because they're just next level, they're able to do it during their prime. So, with that being said, I thought there was going to be an impact. I thought there was definitely going to be an improvement in knowing Coach YEB.
Yep.
But I think I was severely underestimated how much of an impact. Because I feel like it would be less and it would take longer.
Yeah.
So, especially after Team Liquid ID, my first opinion was that, it's Team Liquid ID. They're kind of in a slump right now. So when Onic won, I'm like, cool, YEB is able to push them to win over Team Liquid ID. I really thought RRQ was going to be able to get it done against them, honestly. But yeah, the drafting on top of the performance boost, I think was definitely a massive factor there.
Yep.
Kescute is a coach that has always been able to use the draft to his advantage for his team, right? So the fact that now YEB is able to actually go toe-to-toe and catch him off guard in the drafting phase, even if we want to make the argument, which I'm not making, but if you want to make the argument that RRQ's players objectively are still better than Onic as of right now, the fact that the draft can give him so much of an edge really played into it. And I ran into him right after, right? When we were heading back to the back room.
We met him.
I was like, dude, how the fuck did you come up with that? The fuck? And he was like, got lucky, bro. And I got so annoyed. I got so
This
triggered.
guy.
Like, dude, lock my ass, bro. Like, how the fuck? And then he was like, we're talking about like, dude, you kind of like shut down everything for game 3. You know, like that's crazy. Like you're just so next level.
You're so YEB.
And he was saying like, well, I mean, it's not like one-sided. So he's making the point to me that, I mean, look at game 1. I got caught off guard game 1. It is what it is. Sometimes you come up with something. Sometimes something pops in your mind, and then you go for it in the drafting phase. Sometimes it works. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't. We've seen it not work before, right? But damn, dude, I was so annoyed that match because like you had to pick
as a kingdom.
You had to pick the right moment there, to come back. Couldn't you wait like another week or something?
Bro, that's hey. You guys can't say that because usually they always come back in their BTR match. Usually that's always the case. They would go on a 3-lose streak. Last season it was, right? Losing to Rebellion, and then they would suddenly be like, hey, BTR, we got you. And I actually spoke to Yeb. He actually told me that, sometimes we'd actually just try hard against BTR because we know it's your team and we want to, we want Gani to shit talk you. So I was like, all right, fuck this. But
because Mirko always like actually talks to me. I'm like, dude, what was that draft? What were you doing?
Well, not really.
No?
No, not always. It's just like sometimes. Sometimes I'll be like,
but you have contact.
What's up? But I don't contact the players. The people I contact is like co-ed. Yeah, for a match, I don't tell the players like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? It's just co-ed. I'm just like, discussing with him. Sometimes I just DM him and tell him, yo, what's going on, man? We're in the red zone, brother, like stuff like that. Or the coach. Back in the day, it was Age, Raise Boy. From time to time, Keskit and MM for a while, for season 13.
I did.
But never the players. Never want to put pressure on them. I usually, when I want to say something to the players, I just say, yo, good luck. I still believe in you, Like Light, when he got hate, I was like, dude, Chahyo. That's what we call him, Chahyo. Yeah, Light is Chahyo, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's Cahaya. Cahaya is light in Indonesian. Chahyo, yeah. But we're getting sidetracked here. Let's get back to Yeb. Yeah, I think this is the thing about Yeb. A lot of people, when he came back, when he was announced that he was coming back, a lot of people were just thinking, okay, he's going to improve the drafts. He's going to improve the drafts. Adi's drafts were kind of meh, and we need someone in the draft that can hold his own, someone like Yeb. And that's true. But like Cheffihn mentioned, like Arashi mentioned, there are times that the drafts were just normal. Like it wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't game 3 RQ versus Onyx all the time. But this is the thing about Yeb that I see that gave me, the trust that I have in him. He's not just the drafter for Onyx. He's not just a coach. In an Indonesian environment, a coach is exactly that. You draft and that's it. But I think this is, again, a very Filipino coaching style because I've seen Filipino coaches do this, right? For the most part. Obviously, Keskut is the outlier here. I think for Indonesian coaches, he's like the standard when it comes to it. But they're not only just the guy that would guide you in the draft. They're also the guy that will guide you in the game itself. They have both that knowledge. I've seen a lot of coaches have only draft knowledge, but won't be able to do VOD reviews. People who only know how to do VOD reviews, who can't draft. Yeb is both. Plus, he's also kind of like the father figure of the team. Like, this is real, by the way, because I actually spoke to Yeb, and this is the thing that I've seen. Even with Onyx Philippines, they kind of all gravitate towards this man. I don't know why. This motherfucker. Like, it's crazy. Because I thought it was just an Onyx ID thing, but it's just a Yeb thing, I feel now. Everyone, even Baloy, Dlar, the boys that are not even part of his team anymore, they would still maybe seek his advice sometimes. This guy really knows how to get his players in line, and that's why when we have been talking about Onyx problems for the last 5 weeks, we've always been saying, okay, the drafts have looked meh. It hasn't been amazing. Sometimes the drafts are good though, and the players are whack. Like, the players just are not coordinated. It feels like everybody's just playing for themselves. That's why when Coach Kep came in, I was like, all right, no, this is a draft thing, but it's also going to be the answer to the whole desynchronized thing, to the whole miscoordination thing. Because this is how Yeb is able to connect all of them. And I think we saw that. Again, some of these drafts have been, it's not always groundbreaking. Game 1 against RQ is not groundbreaking. The liquid drafts, game 1, especially when Sans got the Gila moment, the triple kill. Yeah. The drafts weren't groundbreaking. It was a good draft. It wasn't a horrible draft, but it was just Onyx,
Right.
Like, I even spoke to Sanford sometimes about Onyx drafts, and he always says, I would say, dude, Onyx drafts are whack. This is with Yeb. Back in like SPS last year and stuff. And Cypher will be like, but that's always how they draft. Like YEB always drafts in a way where it's weird. It's not the conventional good draft, but it works for their players.
Yeah, I feel like YEB in particular always has this like higher level of understanding.
Yeah.
Like when he's drafting, I'm pretty sure I think if you observe how he's drafting and the results, you can really tell it's not like template.
Exactly.
For lack of a better term.
Man doesn't even have notes.
Like, exactly. So it's not like, okay, this is meta, these are the options. It's pretty free, you know? And because it's free, sometimes it's crazy, sometimes there are moments where it didn't work.
Yeah.
Right? By all means. But for the most part, it just really catches you off guard because
It does.
You really just end up wondering, like, what was the thought process to see these picks and then come up with this solution? It's like he has an understanding of like, oh, this hero can do well in this situation.
Yep.
And he sees the draft of the opponents and he's like, oh, this is gonna end up in a situation like this for my team. So if I get this, even though it's not in the meta, it's not in the notes,
The
because it
adaptations.
doesn't have notes or whatever.
Brother doesn't have
It
notes.
just fits. It's like a puzzle piece, you know? It's like he has this like vision of a puzzle piece and it's like, oh, this piece slots in here just perfect.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a sign of a next level
Yeah.
of coaching. Because again, drafting with like what's meta, it's pretty generic. Like we call it like template generic. So when you can go beyond that, right? That's where it gets really confusing to go up against you because you never know what's gonna show up, right?
Yeah, I still remember the day that I believe it was season 12 or 11 where Yep actually pulled out, I don't know, back then it was Hilda, Dorothy XP Lane, Bruno Marksman,
Frederick
and
XP.
Joy, I believe.
Oh,
It's
what season 13? 14?
No, I don't think it's 13. It was like, I was wondering, like, well, where's the synergy? Where's the CC? Where's the Where's the combination that you need to be able to break through the opponent's draft? Like, I don't see it, but it just works. I think
Exactly. That's true.
you kind of have it or you don't. Like, this is the innate talent of Yep. And as you said, Mirko, it's not just all about the draft and the knowledge and all of that. I think Yep just brings a whole new different vibes, I guess, with Onyx. The fact that he got promoted from a coach, all right?
Yep.
This is a coach. You're supposed to just draft and analyze, try to make your players better.
Yep.
But the fact that he got promoted to a VP, it kind of shows that the man has a deep back.
Yeah,
It's not all about Mobile Legends. It's all about the relationship.
Exactly.
Kind of like, the standard of coaching in maybe traditional sports usually try to connect with your players more and more, right? And I think that should be kind of like the blueprint for a lot of the coaches in Indonesia right now.
Yeah. While we're on that point, I'll just add the fact that like the reason it's very hard for a lot of coaches to actually connect with their players is because it's hard to gain their respect. I think for the longest time, the players are in Indonesia are the stars, right? They're the celebrities, technically. Right. They're the big dogs. And in the past, at least, I'm not too sure how it works now, but in the past, I've heard a lot of stories where, the coaches are actually really good, but the players don't want to listen to them. Like, even though the coaches are really good, they have displayed, they have shown how good they are, the players just wouldn't respect their coach. They will always kind of have their own opinion and they will want to follow their own opinion over the coaches. That's the thing. I don't know. I think it might just be, I don't want to say Indonesian culture because I don't think Indonesian culture is that way.
No.
It's just star syndrome.
Esports culture.
Yeah, star syndrome,
It's a new scene, right?
Yeah.
Esports, so maybe that's why.
But that's been a big problem for a lot of good coaches. I've heard this story a couple of times, by the way, from, I'm not going to name names, but where the coaches are really good. I respect these coaches, like really, really good coaches. The coaches who I'm talking about probably know who they are, again, just by their experience. They would be really good. And then they would be like, all right, let's go and do a VOD review. And the player would just be like, why the fuck am I, this is all basic. Why do I need to listen to all this? And then the coach, exactly. And then the coach would be like, but you're making these mistakes. And then the guys would just be like, no, I'd rather play rank. Or I'd rather do more scrims. Why am I listening to this? Like, you're just telling me what I know. It's like, dude, this is the type of things that the coaches have to deal with.
It's like they're a boxer, right? But they don't want to do drills.
Yeah, and they're like, why the fuck do I need to do the basics? I'm a world champion.
Which is kind of weird too, because when you think about it, the stars are the players, right? The one that gets scapegoated the most are the coaches.
Shout outs to Age, the main scapegoat.
And the other
Erlan. I'm joking. What's the other Adi? Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's fair. It really shouldn't be that way. It feels like
Claudie,
no.
Whoa.
You're gonna drop my camera.
Claudio's on a mission, bro.
Claudie's on a mission to ruin the podcast, but it's okay.
Well, on that topic though, I think I was talking to Yeb a little bit back in M6, and obviously I was like, okay, trying to what's the word? Like pick his mind a little bit, see, try and get insight into how the man thinks, and he was telling me to that point, sometimes coaching isn't about game knowledge. Sometimes coaching isn't about analysis because if you can't draft, you can get a drafter.
Exactly.
If you can't analyze, you can get an analyst.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This is a good point.
He was telling me like, when it comes down to it, more than anything, drafting is great.
Yeah.
Analysis and all that is great. It's better if you do have it. But the main thing you should have is that leadership and the ability to gain the respect and also like have the trust and have your players really like trust in you and believe in you and follow you. And without that main component, you can be the best drafter, you can be the best analyst and best whatever, and it just won't hit the same way.
Yep.
So that was a part that was like, dang, that's really crazy.
That's a really good point.
And again, he just understands so many, not just the game, just like overall, a lot of things on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And I also believe that in the drafting phase, I believe Yeb, from my observation, he also reads into not just like the draft in that game, but also the team's characteristics. So I really felt like in game number 3 of the match against RRQ, it really felt to me that Yeb was like, okay, this team likes going aggressive. And so he went for a composition that actually denies a lot of aggressive maneuvers. So a team with a lot of peel, a lot of kite back.
5 health bars, export fair.
Against RRQ, you can kind of like see it like, hang on a second, that's a really good style for a team that really relies on one big playmaking moment from Dyron, from Edok. We've seen them come back from a huge deficit of one big moment. And in that match in particular, game 3, there was just no moment, dude. For every moment they have, Onyx had like 2 or 3 counters. And I feel like that's not unique to RRQ. Yeb doesn't do it only to RRQ. Against other teams, he's like, okay, what does this team like to do? How can we adapt and just be the biggest nuisance to this particular team? And that's just crazy, dude.
I think, again, really good point. I want to highlight, this is the last thing before we move on to the next topic, because we were staying on this for a while, but again, it's a big topic and it gets to like a really deep conversations. What you said about drafting, Arashi, what you said about like having a coach doesn't mean you have to have a drafter. I like that because it's more and more, I think we're seeing that in MLBB and it's kind of reflecting traditional sports. I think football, I'm not too sure about basketball, but in football, it's like the head coach, the guy that you see is the manager, right? He's the manager.
Right.
But he's not sometimes he's not the guy with the tactics. Sometimes he's not the guy telling the players exactly what to do. A lot of times that's not the case. He's just the leader. He has a set piece coach. He has the other coaches, all the other coaches for all the other departments in the game. So it's similar to MLBB, right? Maybe now we're seeing a drafter, the head guy, the leader, and then an assistant coach as well to help other things. Because in the Philippines, again, it seems like this is the reason. Now we're getting to a point where like, hey, we're pointing at Philippines a lot. Maybe that's why they're finding a lot more success than all the other teams. They are already implementing that formula. Ducky, he was a drafter before, but I think we all know now in AP Bren, after Trevor was there, when Vren was there, he wasn't really the guy in the draft fully. Like obviously he would have a few like points here and there in the drafts for sure, but he's more of a life coach. He's more of that leader guy. The draft was Vren. The draft was Vren and the players, Trevor and the players. He would just be the head. Echo, head coach, Tic Tac, right? His analyst was the one drafting before, Trevor, before he moved to AP Bren. And then it was the players. So it's also that dynamic, the one that I'm talking about in football. Manager and then set piece coach, something coach. Yeah, that's something that I think we will be seeing more of as we get to late game esports, late game MLBB, because a lot of teams will be trying to implement that. One guy can't do it all, is what I'm trying to say.
Sometimes they can, but it's not
very rare
fair.
case.
It's really not fair to assume that someone is gonna be able to do everything.
That's takes a special kind of person.
And if you're expecting every single coach, every single drafter or analyst, whatever, to be able to do everything like that,
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty unrealistic.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't.
Is it the same in basketball, by the way? Yeah.
Like you have a offensive scheme coach, you have
There you
defensive
go.
scheme coach, you have
There you
go.
players development coach, and sometimes when things go south, when they're trying to run the scheme, they just try to communicate with each other, the players.
Yeah.
Sometimes the players coach themselves.
Yeah.
You see, I believe these playoffs. I don't know if you know the guy Nikola Jokic. Like he's pretty much the coach.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't watch
Sometimes it's
basketball,
just-
but I know that name. Yeah.
Just screaming at the players like you do this, you do that. Like if the guy screams me, then you do that. Like it's always like that.
Okay. That's a really, really good segue to the next point, to the next topic, by the way.
Which is someone special that do it all.
It is someone special who can do it all. And this is another level, in my opinion, because not only is it coaching, it's playing the fucking game. Sometimes going 7 deaths. Most of the time it's going 7 deaths. It's Mr. Baloyskie. This is the next point that we have, or next topic that we have. Baloyskie's star-making power. I just want to start things off by saying, someone replay me recap week 1 or 2 when we had Cheffihn over, because he was like, nah, Geek Fam, oh man, I don't know about my team right now.
I didn't say that here. I think I
On
said that
broadcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it's Geek Fam. Like, just
No.
chill. Because, yeah, he's a Geek Fam fan. No, that's first. We got to put that down. But he didn't believe in the pattern. The Geek Fam Baloyskie pattern.
See, I can't believe in pattern if I have the evidence that backs it up. The thing is, I don't have the access to what's going on in the kitchen, in the locker room. I don't know what's going on in the background. So the only evidence that I have
Is the game.
what's going on the surface, which is the gameplay that I see in that week. And it was like, with all due respect, a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
First 2 weeks were pretty bad, though, for Geek Fam.
But
Yeah.
that's Geek Fam though.
Well, yeah.
It's not like we made this judgment.
Maybe like it's kind of a bias too. Like I don't like when MPL pushes, alter ego, they suck after the patches. Or maybe they were united, even though right now they're doing the same thing. They're always good at the start of the season, then just falls off.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just like
Those patterns are, I agree, those patterns are more just like, entertainment value, storytelling. But
this one-
Baloyskie is the outlier. Because for me, that's the pattern I trust. Again, you didn't trust it at the start. The thing is, we kind of already had proof. Like for Dewa, it always happens. It's just coincidental. They always have different players though from time to time. They always do well,
Yeah,
but it's always different players. But for Geek Fam, there's one core thing that stays the same every season. They can have Luke in the XP, they can have Gobs. They can have Niall, Ray, Hazel, to Vincent, to now Make It to the jungle. But the roam, the head is still always the same. At least the duo mid. A boy and Baloy. And dude, I just want to say, we called it here at Me Recap. We knew that Baloy was going to make something happen. It's really not a hot take anymore, in my opinion, because this guy just creates players. He really develops players like crazy.
kind of like
We had this conversation already. Luke was nothing. I would say like when he debuted, he had a very normal, I'd say very below average debut in MPL. He was pretty bad, honestly, when he was Luke, when he debuted. The only guy that started off amazing was a boy, MPLI. Debuted in MPLI, and he was, oh my God.
What's Chedera?
Chedera was like, all right, he was good for public standards, but like if we compare to a boy was smacking people in internationals, man.
would you say
Yeah,
he's a
that's
mini YEB?
Yes,
Mini yet?
I think so.
And he was under YEB.
You know what? A fun fact: when they joined season 10, I asked Yeb, who do you think is going to do well this season? Yeb said, Geek Fam, for sure. Even though they didn't make it to playoffs in the end. I said, why? He said, dude, they got Baloyskie. That guy's like mini version of me. He thinks like me. He knows how to beat me. That's why Onyx for the longest time, when they struggle against Geek Fam. Even in the seasons where they're really good, against Geek Fam, they'll always be like, fuck, this guy knows us, man. This guy knows how to beat us. And that was also what happened last season in playoffs. Geekable. They geeked Onyx out of playoffs. But yeah, he is mini Yeb. By Yeb himself, he approved. He's like, yes, this is mini Yeb.
I think that's fair. Again, we've already heard a lot. I think you've mentioned already a lot about Baloyskie actually knowing a lot more to the game than on the surface level. He knows like the deeper mechanisms and all that.
Yep.
And I feel like it's cool because he seems to know he seems to know that for every role.
Yeah.
Because knowing that for one role is one thing, but if you're able to instruct and guide people to get better on all 5 roles,
Every season.
first of all, I think that's also what makes him really good in game too. Because on one hand, okay, then your teammates always get better. That's great. But on the other hand, in addition to that, you also know exactly how your team plays and what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right. So as a roamer, I think it's really good that he's going to be able to visualize, like, okay, at 3 minutes here, as per my instruction and my understanding and my teammates' understanding, the EXP lane is doing this. And then you can kind of visualize like the flow of the game almost. So you can really set up for really good plays, really good ganks as well. And by all means, so far, that's not that's not how the game is being played, because Baloyskie with the 7 death buff. It's not exactly,
Power spike.
It's not exactly like an early game dive type of thing.
Yeah.
But
He just dies a lot.
again, I feel like as the team progresses, and as you mentioned with the Geek Fan pattern,
Yep.
as the team gets better, we're gonna end up seeing more of that. Because I feel like part of the reason why we're seeing the 7 death buff is that when the team really isn't as united and as developed, then the roamer is kind of limited in what he's able to do, right? So, and then later in the mid to late game, when there's items, when they've caught up somehow, that's where the one big play, the one big moment can really turn things around. And we've seen it from Baloyskie, right? Team just going really bad, and then 4-man implosion or something like that, and it turns it around. So as the team gets better, I feel like the mid to early game is gonna get even more terrifying for Geek Fam. So that's something that I think teams should look out for.
By the way, Baloyskie knows the meme,
What meme?
He knows the 7 death power spike.
Oh, for sure he does,
like,
yeah.
I believe I heard in one of the mic checks, he said to his teammates that if I die 10 times, the word's not gonna end.
Yeah.
Like, he knows it. Like, he knows his feed.
He's self-aware.
It's weird. But I want to share a story about Baloyskie.
Go ahead.
Like, I don't know. I think I've told you guys about this a lot of times, but I don't know if I said this in the broadcast.
He's a basketball player.
He actually was, by the way. Shout outs. Like high school.
You didn't know?
I know, but like when I see his jump shot, it's like,
Well, that's now, Like high school Baloy, Baloy would
He's
rip you
dunking
apart. He would dunk everybody.
Yeah.
He was 6 foot.
shape.
He was 6'5", built like a brick wall.
LeBroy James?
He was LeBroy James.
You were saying?
yeah. The reason why I'm such a Baloyskie, I can say
Fanboy?
this, glazer.
Glazer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except when he's on show. Yes, I can remember.
Right now it works. Like, I know that it works.
He was.
now.
By the way,
I said
week two, he was like, "All right, Baloyskie, play anything, just not Cho.
Hey,
Get off Cho."
I
That's
didn't see the vision, right? I didn't see the vision.
See, this is why, boys.
When
You
I
just
see the
gotta
Cho,
trust
Yeah,
Baloy. You gotta
when I see
believe
the
Baloy.
Cho, I said to Arashi, the only thing that Baloy did good on the Cho is scouting.
Yeah.
And Arashi said to me, like, well, it's important.
It
know
is.
It's important,
It's
but like,
very important.
when I see the engage, like, it's like,
Sometimes he gets
why
the wrong
is this guy
kick.
playing a Cho?
There are a lot of mechanical mistakes from Baloy, for sure.
happens,
For
it
sure.
happens.
Like, he actually fucks up a lot on Cho, yeah.
But back to my story. Like, one of the reasons why, I became a Baloyskie fan was this is the first player
And a
that I
Geek
got
fan.
Yeah, the first player that I got to actually talk to face to face, like in a talk show, I guess, in a way.
Okay.
It was like a tournament.
What was it for?
Slash-
Head and Shoulders, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mirko always remembers.
I remember.
So I said this to Baloyskie. In season 11, you brought Geek Fam to playoffs. Baloyskie just immediately paused me and say, "We." It was like, holy moly. Okay, this guy's a leader. Like, I like this guy. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Just that single moment really made me realize some of the stuff that Baloyskie, like, what's going on in his mind,
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about him. And he actually owned up to his mistakes, I believe, in season 11 when he was up 2-0 against
Yeah,
EVOS.
the reverse sweep.
It was 2-2 for EVOS. They came back. Then he told me that he was making a leadership mistake at that time.
I remember this, yes.
He wants to say something. I forgot the exact thing that he said, but it's like
Yeah.
a tough love thing,
Yeah.
Like, if you're not ready to be here, then you don't deserve to be here or something like that.
I remember this.
I don't remember the
Yeah,
exact wording, but he owned up to his mistakes. So
Yeah.
that's why I think that's one of the qualities to be a leader, right? When you can admit that you're messing up, you're fucking up to your the team that you're leading, you can be vulnerable to them. They're
Yeah.
gonna trust you.
Yeah, I remember this. It was so the gist of it is basically he was trying to go tough love, bad cop, on the team, and it didn't work because it actually shut down the mental of a lot of his players. So he learned from that. He's like, oh, okay, this is how they react to this kind of So he
And
changed.
Before Game 5, he knew that after seeing his teammates, face their whatchamacallit, their
Expression.
expressions, yeah,
Yeah.
he knew that he was gonna lose that series in Game
Okay.
5.
Damn.
He was already kind of like, all right, we got to go next. We got to go season 12. And then they made it to M5.
Damn.
Yeah. But
That's the mental game, dude. It's not just about momentum.
see, that's why I'm saying, like,
mental.
coach, you got to direct your players too. It's not just about draft, right? It's also kind of like how you lead them outside of the game, how you boost their mental. AP Bren, M5, Kyle Teasy was crying before the grand finals. And Ducky, well, in the documentary, it looked like Ducky was the guy who just straightened him up. Just say it like he was the guy who yo, this is our time,
Do you
Remember-
know the reason?
Anxiety. He was just dude, he got brother.
Wow.
Listen, when you're up against that Onic and you just got 3-0'd in the upper bracket finals, you're coming into grand finals. You're thinking this team's unbeatable. You're thinking we had a 14,000 goal lead and Keyboy did his thing. How we beat them, right? And then again, the coaching staff. They were 3-0'd. AP Bren were not favorites coming into the finals. Yes, it was home crowd. But after seeing a 3-0, after seeing that comeback, and this is why coaching is very, very important. Very important. How close you are with the players. Do you know your players as a coach? It's not just about stats, It's not just about what you should do in the game. It's how you interact with your players outside of the game. And I think that's why Baloyskie, again, to get back to the point, is so good. Because he has the perspective of being a player too. He's a coach in every sense of the word, but he's also he's a friend. He's one of them, one of the players. So it's cool. I think that's what makes Baloyskie special.
He's like a in-game leader.
Yeah.
Lomax.
Yeah. I have so much respect for Baloyskie. We could go on and on about Baloyskie. I've already told y'all the stories about Baloy. He also motivated me, but he was like a coach to me, technically, at M3. We already went through that story. By the way, he forgot about that. He forgot what he said to me.
I mean, when you're dropping wisdom left and right,
Yeah, this
everything
guy.
just seems...
Okay, but that's just Baloy.
You forgot your good deeds.
Yeah, again, that's something that we tend to forget sometimes. Our good deeds. We only remember the bad deeds, right? You fucking haters, cunts. I'm sorry for that language. Parents who are watching, I'm very sorry. I meant to say cats. Okay, let's move on to the next thing.
How many questions do you have?
We have 6, but we have another one, just like reactionary stuff, because I want to know your reactions to a certain roster that I think is going to be really, really ridiculous. This is the 7th point, but I'm gonna make it a 3rd point.
I see the grin, dude.
EVOS downfall. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. What's going on with EVOS, bro? Top 3 before the break, before the Mobile Masters 3-week break. They're 7th place. EVOS are 7th place this season. Now in week 6, and
It's always 7.
and you gotta understand that they are going to be competing with Alter Ego, technically. Those are the 2 teams that are really, really fighting for playoffs still. And Alter Ego have a 2-match. Well, TLID too, but I want to emphasize Alter Ego because if it does get to just Alter Ego and EVOS, Alter Ego have a 2-match head-to-head lead.
Oh,
so
boy.
if they do tie up in points, EVOS are the ones not making it. And their match coming up next is RRQ and Liquid.
Rough.
Well, I'm rooting for EVOS for that.
And then Onic.
What?
Next week.
It's up against RQ. You guys are the first placer. I
Yeah,
want to move up.
that's true. I want to move up too. To be fair, that's a valid opinion. I agree. I also want RQ to lose but for my own benefit, for my team, my boys,
When
BTR.
he says that, I'm not too worried because we all know
You can't meet them
we
already.
all know what happens when.
We all know first leg 2-0, right, chat? Right, chat? Best team in the world. But yeah, so EVOS. What's going on with EVOS? What do you guys think is going on with EVOS?
I feel like it's a combination of things, which
Okay.
is the worst. Some people
It's an Onic thing again, like a combination of problems.
might be. So
Okay.
just to emphasize, people think that when there's one big problem, it's such a big problem, it's dangerous. I feel like one big problem is so much more preferable compared to a multitude of like compounding like small problems. I think that's like a lot more difficult to diagnose, and it's a lot more difficult to treat anyways if you use medical terms. So for EVOS, I feel like it's a combination of them kind of like getting a bit complacent. It's a combination of them getting overhyped a lot because they've been able to actually find these big moments, and also the fact that teams are also like kind of like understanding, like, okay, Albert is a big problem. How can we find out? So it's not just some people think it's just like in the early game, in the drafting phase. Oh, if we ban out Albert, we screen Albert, shut him down, we win the game. It's not just that. It's also people understanding in a fight, in a team fight, like, hey, the team is great, right? But Erlan has been making mistakes. Oh, the team is great, but, you know, Key sometimes hasn't really been as crazy. It's Albert. And when you have that kind of like attention on you, and when the rest of the team is like maybe volatile in that sense, not really as consistent, because we've been saying Albert is like the consistent, like, you know, tip of the spear for them. And then Albert gets limited. And when Albert gets limited, we can no longer see the crazy outplays, the crazy 1v1s and all that, because he's not really allowed that space. When there's a situation where like Albert can attempt a 1v1, you can bet that the opposing team already like, hey, it's Albert. He's gonna try and go for this 1v1, right? So they're gonna send someone, they're gonna do some macro stuff, and it shuts them down indirectly. Now on top of that, we saw brands, and that was confusing to me. Like for real, I was
all
like,
right, we're getting to that topic.
Wait, is that a topic?
No, it's here too, but
because again, talking about small problems. Maybe if it's just brands being slotted in without all the other problems, it won't be as difficult. Maybe if it's all these problems, but still Erlan. This is the problem, right? Which one is the most detrimental factor? And it's really hard to find out without extensive, I don't know, questioning almost of your players or a ton of trial and error. And unfortunately for them right now, they don't have that kind of time. Like you mentioned, they're on the ropes right now. So they have a lot of small problems. They have diagnostics issues, and they're on the ropes. So this is looking tough for EVOS. I still think they have experienced players. And
this is good for you though, right? You like when
sort of, yeah, sort of. I do feel like they can recover.
Clip that.
Don't
worry, he's got the RQ shield.
Well, I think they can recover. You know, to their credit, I think they have a. I think we've spoken quite highly about the coach.
Yeah, Avil.
And we've also mentioned that they have good experienced players, and a lot of problems, a lot of like tough things that can confuse you in game and out of the game. You can kind of, like I said, you require time, right? And Albert and Key has had time, so that's like a saving grace almost. If they are able to use that and then figure something out, that'll be great.
Yeah,
and I think it's possible, but they are really in a tough spot.
They are.
In my opinion.
I don't have an opinion.
You don't have an opinion on EVOS?
Yeah. Arashi already said it.
Okay.
I don't wanna mess around.
All right. He's just playing safe here, you know. Luckily, Geek Fam 2. Oh, Geek Fam 2. Oh no, dude. For me, I agree with a lot of the points you made, but I just want to like add on to the point that you made again. Why are they swapping so many of their players? Like Reggie, sure, he got married, right? Yeah. He got married, understandable. Natco is, by the way, like if it wasn't for Natco, this team would be 8th place. Nat Goat is really saving their ass right now with all the movement in the team. I won't be surprised if Erlan and Brands get subbed down and then Natco shows up in gold next week.
He's better than what's his statement back then?
Yeah, like Skyler's good, but he's better.
But I'm better, he says.
No, but seriously, shout out to Natco. Doing a really good job at like balancing all the roles. But I think Reggie is very important. Reggie is crucial to this team. When you have star players and very vocal dudes like Albert and Key, you need someone to balance it out in XP. And I think Natco, he's amazing, but he's not that guy. He's not the guy that's vocal enough. He's not the guy with that much experience to actually tell the boys, guys, this is a bad call, you know? Reggie is that type of dude. Reggie will be like, guys, what the fuck? Why are we concealing bottom lane, having our conceal run out and still forcing a fight when we're winning against Alter Ego, by the way. This is game number
Is this something you've
two.
you've confirmed?
What?
Like, is this something you've heard from people
Yes.
about Reggie?
This
Or
is
it like an
something I've
assumption
heard.
from the
This is
gameplay?
something I've heard from credible sources.
Oh man.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say
I wasn't sure.
but credible sources. Reggie's very important to the team, I think, and the fact that they are swapping Natco and Brands again, like you said, here, I'll put it out simply. Brands has had his time to prove like his worth, to prove how good he is as a player, and I think he is very good as a player when the meta suits him. Does the meta suit him now? The Grangers, yes. The Moskovs, yes. The Claude, yes. The Harith, not so much. And Harith is crucial right now in the meta, at least in Indonesia. For some reason in the Philippines, we don't see as many Hariths pop up.
Less brawls.
Less brawls probably, but I think Erlan's still the better choice. And it's just crazy to me. I've said this a billion times. How EVOS just don't want to trust in Erlan. I don't know what they have against Erlan, or I don't know what Erlan's doing in scrims, but we have seen him fail. That was once against RRQ. A lot of people look at that matchup against RRQ, you know, the Erlan moments, the spear of destruction, the actual destructive spears from Erlan. But a lot of people just look at that match. For some reason, EVOS always seem to have a scapegoat. Like, why do they always need a scapegoat? We got an ad break, ladies and gentlemen. You might be thinking, what's that beautiful thing next to Cheffihn? Well, that's the Asus V16. Comes in with the Intel Core 5 processor and an RTX 3050, up to an RTX 4050 and an Intel Core 7 processor later on. You guys can get it right now. It is eSport ready with a 144Hz screen, military grade with full I/O ports as well. With an IPS screen, 16-inch, this bad boy is ready for you to game. And it doesn't look like a gaming computer. It's slick and it's cool. Go get yours today with the Asus Game Day. You guys can go and check it out right here. As you can see, if you get it now, you get a Steam wallet up to IDR 210,000 and a possible Genshin Impact mouse mat. Check it out from the 15th of April to the 30th of May, 2025. Just trust for once. Erlan has a total playtime of like 3 games in the last 3 seasons. He's only been given 1 game per season, 1 match per season, and then they would continue to sub him off. Even though in the past seasons he was the one doing good on the team. I'll be honest with you. Like the first time he debuted, he was on Bruno. He got a triple. He did really good. The team threw, and then he got subbed off next game. It's like, what do they have against Erlan? What's going on? I don't understand. He's good. The reason they won against BTR in the first leg is because of Erlan stealing the fucking Lord with Granger. Right. The reason they've won so many of their games, even in SPS, is Erlan. I don't know why they just really don't like this guy. He deserves a better team that actually, you know, like sees the good in him. I don't understand.
Yeah, because I mean, that raises a question immediately because I think Avil has mentioned. Avil's pretty straight up. We talked about how we really enjoyed Avil in the losers interview.
Yeah.
Because he's insightful.
Very
and
insightful.
He says it the way it is, right? Hey, this was the problem. There was this. There was that. And it makes sense. You know, it's logical. As people on desk commentating, observing, we can kind of see his point. Which raises the point, like, if there is any worry and concern about Erlan, I'm now curious, is there any factor outside of gameplay that's making EVOS, I don't know, very distrusting of him? Because again, is it just like how he acts again? Because we talk about synergy, right? Is it his synergy with the teammates? Is it the way he carries himself, and maybe the management doesn't see him as confident? Because obviously, when you have if you compare him to Brands, for example, when you have quite the stellar career, when you've had the nickname the King of the Marksman, you have like more stock. Like you have better marketing by default. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering is that it? Like he just maybe he's newer, he's less vocal, he's up against someone with a name, right, with a reputation, and that's kind of like getting him overshadowed. That's making a lot of things kind of like making him the scapegoat for a lot of things. Yeah. Because if it is, like that's just really unfortunate, and that sucks. And tying into the point about coaches, I feel like part of your duty as a coach is to also deal with situations like that, where maybe, let's say, one of us is new, one of us is less confident. Well, just because that's the case, like, the coach should step in and say like, and kind of like stop that from happening. You know, advise the players, advise the management. You know, and get involved there because I feel like talking about the leadership thing, that's an important part. You know, you can't just like cruise along and expect the guy who is under a lot of pressure, already kind of viewed negatively and all that, to kind of deal with all this on his own and make an epic recovery. Is it possible? Have players done it before? Yes. But again, are we really supposed to expect every single player is able to have that? The skills in game, the mental fortitude to come back from, you know, like pressure of the audience, of the teammates and all that. So I feel like that's also unrealistic.
Yeah.
This is why I said that I don't want to have an opinion on this, because once you realize that, you know, the Brunson airline swap that happened, then we start to kind of always assume, or like it's always guessing what's happening in the backstage. That's why all of this for me is just guesswork, man. Like, and we can just throw out all these possibilities, and we don't know for sure what's gonna happen or like what happened.
Yeah. But that's the whole point of the show. It's like our thoughts.
That's why.
Yeah.
I've been clipped once, and it was not a pleasant
Someone's
experience.
Overrated. That was the clip.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you get clipped out of context, takes like that, you know, if they clip my sentence earlier without the if they cut the if off, it's like, he's acting he knows shit.
Yeah.
He's claiming that the management sucks.
That's why you just gotta say it, bro. You just don't. You shouldn't care about what like people say.
Rashi said what I said. What I'm trying to say.
Oh, so you're trying to use me as like a microphone. Bro, because like, you know, I still maintain that a lot of people from the comments and DMs I'm getting till this day, to this day, I'm still convinced that a lot of people have no idea about the Beat Onyx versus Dan Talk context.
Even in the live chat, it's always like there's a comment or two that says Rashi sucks, or like get off the stage, Rashi, for no reason.
It's an old topic, so I'll keep it brief. But
Lord.
it's about hyping up the next M series, right?
Okay.
That was all that was about.
Okay.
And I'm getting comments saying, "It's been 3 years, bro. You've been constantly talking shit about the Philippines." I'm like, when, motherfucker? Like, what the fuck?
PH number one enemy right here. Malaysia number one enemy right here.
Like, I love the Philippines. Like, Onyx PH are, you know, they were great too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have no issues. The fuck.
Yeah, it is. That's why we shouldn't really care about what you know the netizens say, because the people who know, right? The people who don't, whatever. You just live with it. Like the Malaysians who hate on me, like during M6, I was like, whatever, dude. Those guys were also kind of like, yo, you better watch out when you come to Axiata. I'm like, come on, like I'll challenge you. This is Malaysia. This is a fucking safe country. What are you gonna do? Like, dude, what are you gonna do? What the hell? He's like, come to the arena. I'll wait for you. I'm like, sure. Well, for a picture. You're not gonna do shit. This is like this ain't a third world. Hey, can you press no right there, brother man? Just press no. It's not gonna affect anything. Just there you go. All right.
Yeah, but small segue though. For me, there was also a DM or a comment. Step off the plane in the Philippines. I'm a confront you and cut your head off. I'm like,
hey, same.
Hey, there you go. So hey,
maybe like it's actually just
the same guy.
yeah, the same
If
dude.
you come to Philippines, I'll cut off your head and I'll send your body to Indonesia.
Dude, and I remember
beheader.
I remember someone told you to kill yourself, and then you opened up his profile, and it was like a fucking self-help
advocate.
mental health advocate telling him to kill himself. Oh my god.
It's great. It's
Going to
great.
the psychiatrist, you know, I'm having this big problem in my life. You know what? Maybe you're the problem. You know, kill yourself.
Maybe you should just stop. But okay, we're getting a lot of sidetracked here.
Let's go back and talk.
Shout outs to the people who've sent that comment in the past. You guys are amazing. Keep on sending those positive comments, man. I need the reinforcement in my life, you know. But let's move on to the next one. All right, we got This is kind of spicy. UDIL Drama.
Oh no!
Okay, so we're
okay. I gotta
just
be on my best behavior.
Just to give you guys context about the problem right now. What did that say? It said something. Something said. Okay, but I think for the mic, but it's all good. UDIL Drama. So context is UDIL has just
Is
been
it confirmed at this point?
no. It's still all allegations.
Okay,
so
okay,
we're,
okay.
we're that's why I want to be very very safe
Very
here. I don't want to get
important,
sued by any party right now.
Slander.
Yeah. Allegedly, UDIL claimed to be someone else. He claimed to be just Julian, which is his first name.
Just Julian.
On a dating website, and hello. I think the mic died, so I think we're gonna have to share a mic. We're gonna have to share a mic. I'm sorry, Rashi.
It's all good. It's all good.
But basically, right? Udil allegedly was cheating on his wife. Allegedly cheating on his wife. He has kids. He has a kid, by the way. So allegedly he was cheating on his wife. He also claimed to be someone else. He also claimed to be Christian. Like that's not his religion. And it might not sound like a big thing for the international viewers, but I think for Muslims, it's haram to claim to be another religion.
You're out. You're physically out.
You're out. You're not a Muslim anymore. Like that's it's a sin. It's a sin.
Yeah.
And in a country that has Sharia law, I don't know the punishment for that, but Malaysia.
No, I don't think there's any punishment for that.
But Malaysia is kind of like tight with like the Muslim law. I've
Yeah.
heard a couple of my friends get in trouble just because like they went in to drink and stuff. Seriously, like apparently again, but yeah. So there's a lot of things going on circulating.
What the fuck?
Cloudy just jumped. He's like, "What the fuck, nerd?" But yeah.
I thought there was a hand or something.
Yeah, this scared the fuck out of me.
So that's the thing about Udil right now, and everything is alleged. The big one. Allegedly, man's like selling medication.
Medication.
Yeah, man selling medication and also apparently using. This is all alleged by the victim, I guess, by the girl who he allegedly cheated with. I don't know what to say honestly about the situation, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait for what he said. The law. We're just gonna have to wait for the law. Like once this is confirmed, or once the whole investigation has concluded, then we'll know. But what I will say about it is, so far, Udil has kind of debunked the using medication. He already he went through a lab test. No, the results came non-reactive. Every single test is non-reactive. But I think a lot of streamers have also said that the main allegation is you're distributing it. You're not, and distributing
Which is worse.
That is
worse. I believe it's still the death
Much
penalty.
worse.
it's a death penalty in Malaysia. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about Indonesia.
Indonesia back then there was like a group
There
of
was,
Australian,
exactly.
I believe Bali 9, the term was.
Yeah, but it's the death penalty, right?
Yeah.
So this is if it ends up some way getting exposed and it is true, he's in a lot of trouble.
Wait, does that mean I talk now? Dang, on the spot. So first of all, I think it's very important to state that we should always believe in innocent until proven guilty. So I'm reserving judgment until the facts come out, because let's be real here, okay? In our industry, even for us, there's this concern that we're gonna say something wrong. We just talked about Clippers earlier, but there's this fear of saying something wrong and we get in trouble, So it's a common factor here when you're in this kind of industry, when you're a talent, you're a personality, you have a social media following. So yeah, I think it really sucks to be in Udil's position. Until the proof comes out, I won't outright condemn him. I think I'm very willing to accept the possibility that this might be blown out of proportion. There might be things that we don't know just yet. So we'll let the law and the system and the investigation do its thing, first of all. Second of all, once that's out of the way, it's why? That's so random, because people have been saying he's just horny and all that. I'm like, yeah, but Udil isn't known as that guy so far, right? Maybe he's been hiding his true
As
self,
far as we know.
by all means. But I feel like if that really is the core issue, there are much better ways to do it than role playing as a different person in a different country.
I could probably do better.
Okay.
Someone that doesn't have experience.
So I really feel like it probably isn't that. If there's anything, it's probably just the feeling of hey, I'm in a whole new country. People don't know me. I can be whatever I want. That could be the main the main like motivation, honestly, because I feel like that's the only thing that could probably make some sense. Because everything else, it's like there are just safer, more convenient, etc., ways of getting to this end goal, you know. And by the way, I thought that the quote unquote victim was Malaysian.
Yeah.
She's Indonesian. So I was even more confused because then like
Yeah.
I don't get
I
it.
have no idea.
I just don't get it. I really don't understand. So it sucks, you know, that we have this going on. Whether or not, if it's true, it sucks. If it's not true, it also sucks, right? So I really just hope that we can get some clarity. We can finally have official. We can get the facts. We can get an official decision by the investigation, but also the facts on how they reached that decision. Because I'm also a big believer in like sometimes the investigation like can be biased and all that. So I want to see like the facts.
Yeah.
What is the cold hard evidence, so we can also like as a public, as people, make our own judgment on whether we agree with that investigation. But until then, to reinstate, I am reserving judgment, innocent until proven guilty, guys.
Yeah, same with Arashi. Like, I don't want to
Motherfucker.
No, seriously.
What the
This
fuck?
is, you know, I gotta be like super careful because I could really get in trouble here. Okay? No, don't laugh. It's true. That's why you said I reinstated like over and over, guys. Like,
Just
it's
reinstate,
all
bro.
allegation.
Just reinstate.
But yeah, I think if it's if, you know, big if it's true, you know, I don't think this kind of behavior you can kind of put just pure logic behind your Arashi.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people just, when you're having
That's
some
true.
mental
That's
problems, mental issues, a lot of things that seems logical, just they're not gonna do it
Right,
because
yeah.
they don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, yes.
I've kind of been in that kind of position, but you know, not to that certain extent. So like, I'm not gonna say I get it, but I can.
I can see.
No, it's not.
You see the vision.
What's the lowest of that version?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of confusion too because as far as I know from the stories that UDIL has posted, he hasn't really fully address
He's been very vague
the
about
whole
things.
thing. It's vague. You know, sometimes the story is just outright. I don't even understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And like,
It's true.
oh man, how do I word this?
Not to mention, do we want to bring up the whole cover-up attempt?
What is it?
Do we want to bring
So
it up?
I mean, this was alleged again by the
Alleged.
victim, right? The victim said like,
There's more to it?
so the victim basically like told Udil's wife allegedly about this whole like cheating scandal, blah blah blah, and then Udil went back to like chat the girl saying like, hey, you should come and like we should do a shoot. You use all this and then make it a like a ring
Gimmick.
advertisement. So it's like he was gonna get endorsed and he was gonna make this whole thing kind of like shut this whole thing down, just making it seem like, oh, it's a gimmick for an endorsement type of thing. Yeah.
And usually when you see
Yeah,
online
so-
drama like this, the immediate reaction, if you're really innocent, is trying to give out your screenshots right away. I
Yeah,
have
your
the
receipts,
receipt.
your receipts.
But
yeah.
you know, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to do or like you're not supposed to do this when you're in this position. But he went to let the law handle it
Yeah.
right away,
Yeah.
which is in a way,
Yeah, if you're in America, that's the normal thing, but we're not in
Yeah.
America. Like, we don't usually use the it's very rare. Usually it's like, it's a help kind of, situation. Usually. But yeah, we don't know. I think we're going to end things there. Tell us what you guys think in the comments if you guys even follow like this drama. But next thing is something very, very scary, boys. Very scary for us Indonesians, because this is, oh my God. They've officially announced the SIBOL MLBB men's team final roster. Let me just read this out to you guys. Super Marco, Few, Flap TZ, Pandora. But here's where it gets crazy. Kelra, Ogwen, Sanford, Kyle TZ, and Coach Trevor. Bro, oh my God. This is the first time that we're seeing, because usually in the Philippines, they always do like a whole team thing. They never do all-star teams. They always do like, if it's, I think in the past, AP Brand, if it's AP Brand, AP Brand. If it's RQ Kaito, it's RQ Kaito. That's it, right? this is the first all-star attempt from the Philippines, and man, it looks fucked. It looks so scary, bro. Calra and Sanford, the best XP and the best gold, in my opinion, in the same team, and then the trio mid of Falcons. Few, Ogwen, Kyle. Oh man, oh no! And then so Marco obviously is in the roster too and Flap, but we know who's gonna be starting, right?
Ooh,
Holy
eh?
shit, that's
Who knows?
dude. I don't know. I mean, I believe in the Indonesian reps. We don't have the Indonesian reps yet. I'll be supporting the Indonesian reps.
We got Baloyskie.
We don't. He's Filipino. But yo, damn, this has got to be the scariest lineup ever from from the Philippines. Because we've seen full lineups, and I'm like, even AP Brent, I'm like, all right, I see a chance not an all-star. This is all-star. But my question is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Because there's a reason they've always gone for full teams before. There's a reason. I think a lot of people are always kind of like, oh, look at these Indo all-stars. You don't just make all-star teams. You got to go with one team. And now they're doing an all-star. Is it going to hurt? Is it going to do well? Is my question now. Because for me, looking at the roster, oh, fuck, it's going to do well. Like, oh, this is a scary lineup. But looking at their past, they have done better with just, a full team instead of an all-star team.
I'm thinking of it as an upgrade, to be honest. They have the championship blueprint. How many times in a row by now? What?
No, he's actually talking. Because you've been saying we have the same opinion.
Oh, well, this is not really something that I need to be careful of.
You sure about that?
No, seriously. Like, this is a glazing segment here, Rashi. But yeah,
Doesn't have to be.
they have the championship blueprint already. How many times in a row by now they won SEA Games?
All the SEA Games.
All the SEA Games, right? So I would think that they know what they're doing, right? And there's got to be a reason why they have to go out of their way to get Sanford and Calera in. You said to us that, in your opinion, that they were the best in their positions, right, in the world. And I think this is like a kind of a stamp, in a way, that they are indeed the best at their position because they have to somehow get these guys to the team, in a way, kind of like sacrificing the possible synergy that they're gonna lost in that AP brand lineup.
Yeah.
Calera and Sanford. So there's no debate, right? They are the best in their positions.
For me, there's no debate. I've always said, even when TLPH don't make it, I'm like, dude, Sanford is still the best XP in the world, in my opinion. For me, Sanford is. Calera, I don't even think you need my opinion. I think we all know who this guy is. This guy, bro,
Has he
it's
played against
Calera. Has he played against Cheffihn? No, Calera. Never be in Cheffihn. We're not in the same league as Cheffihn. Literally.
You said it on a good day, Chadera looks like Calera.
I did not say that.
Yes!
What?
Yes, I remember.
I don't know. I don't remember saying that.
I got the receipt.
Come on, best goalie in the world. Luke, best XP in the world. My goats.
Skylar, best in the world, bro.
Please come back. He's not even playing.
Come back. Please come back. Titanic reference. Come back. So, in my opinion, there is a concern again with the whole synergy. Because sometimes we've seen all-star attempts before. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? But especially after that point about coaching in the Philippines, I feel like if they are willing to give it a try, for sure they've tried it. I mean, they've already figured out that at least there's a good chance that this is gonna work out. So this is a lot scarier. It's not just hey, we have good players, let's make an all-star team. It's hey, we have an all-star team and we believe that they can actually elevate each other higher than the quality that they have right now in their own individual teams. And with the individual teams already doing so well, yeah, I think we're in for a tough one. I think it's reasonable to believe that they are gonna be the favorites for sure. So yeah, it is what it is, man.
Want to give out percentages? Like how confident do you think?
No.
We don't need
100%. Philippines gonna win. Let's make Christian. Let's try.
Oh, okay.
Let's try. There was an attempt, okay?
It's not even an opinion.
Yeah, right now I think because we don't even know who's going to represent Indo yet. If it's BTR, then obviously they're gonna win. But I'm gonna move. Let's move on to the next topic.
Want to make our own first, or?
Oh, sure. All right, make your own. We're gonna make our own SIBOL lineup. There you go, Cheffihn.
Rome, Baloyskie.
We can't use Baloy, bro.
He's already
He's not naturalized.
You know what? If we nationalize Baloy, sure. I mean, no, like real.
Enoch,
right
for
now.
sure.
Enoch, I agree.
Enoch.
Enoch, we all agree on that. XP.
Now, this is a tough one. I don't think we have a standout greatest EXP in Indonesia
Darren.
right now.
Darren.
Hey, yeah, Darren.
Darren.
Never mind.
Darren.
The best one, definitely, but like, yeah.
Hey, I love Darren. He's my boy.
Nah.
But Luke has got
Hey.
the best music video of all time. Yeah.
Hey.
Of course, Kanye West. No, I'm gonna vouch for Luke here. I'm gonna vouch for Luke as the boy. He is bombastic in a way where he can.
Is that a good thing?
It is a good thing. It can be a good thing when you have a like. Hey, come on.
Uh-huh.
I choose Luke.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to explain myself here.
You
But
don't-
Darren is like definitely put Darren and Luke in. Like you have sub.
You don't even believe that in your mind.
I believe it. I believe in Luke, brother man.
Okay, come on. Next one then.
Jungle.
Jungle. I mean. Oh, is it an argument?
This is. You know what? For me.
Oh, snap.
What would it be? Like,
For me. I think it's either Annabelle or Make It.
Wow.
No, because I was thinking the make it comes to mind as
Yeah,
well.
I know, right? Which
is
is
kinda
weird.
crazy. I think
Holy.
Annabelle ain't a bad bet though. Ain't a bad bet.
Make It because he can play Fanny. For me, that's a very important thing to have.
Yes, sir.
Like, and we've spoken about how crucial it is to just be able to have that game-changing Fanny. So Make It's for Fanny, but for we don't call you fighting my Lego. Annabelle Make It. I think those are the two candidates for me.
Agreed.
We're gonna say Albert.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
that's a
thing
good
is,
shout. Good shout.
Like, you have to kind of consider the experience factor, right? This Albert is much more battle tested against any kind of jungler in Indonesia right now.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
So I'm still going Albert.
So we want
Despite-
three junglers?
We gotta choose one.
We can bring a
We
sub.
split. We split.
Can I bring a sub?
we can choose two minimum.
Maximum.
Who do we? Yeah,
Maximum.
maximum.
Yeah,
Who
maximum.
do we cut out?
Shit.
I mean, if you guys got Albert, then I have no choice, right?
Huh?
If you guys got
Albert, then he won't have a choice. He's saying.
yeah. You
Albert
call-
is in. Yeah.
Oh, you're in?
Albert is in.
Wow.
Here. If we have to choose, then I'll go Albert Make It. Because we need someone who can play Fanny. That's important.
I'm also
Okay.
Albert Make It.
Okay.
But
Bit of bias there.
doesn't Albert? I mean, he's not super crazy, but he plays a decent fan, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So I mean, is that just the idea? Another gets cut because he can't play Fanny?
it's the same problem as
Sheesh. Yeah.
the Sutsujin problem that I said. The RQ problem. Even with Hazel. Hazel can't play Fanny on that level too now. We saw it. So that's the problem that we are seeing in RQ. And for the Indo team, we need to make it. We need Albert. Annabelle is the same thing right now. Like, we just don't see him play Fanny that well. So for me, it's Albert Make It. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Mid lane. Now this one gets really, really cool because I'm gonna. Hey, this is bias, but Moreno. I'm putting Moreno up there. I'm putting my boy, the Maestro Moreno. The Maestro Moreno.
Ask Arashi first.
Oh no, I agree. I think he's really good.
Rinse.
So with Rins, right? I just feel like it's not as proven, as tested, per se. The only concern is like if we're actually going, if we're gonna imagine a realistic scenario here,
Yeah.
we all know that he's a bit of a combi with Ido, so that's a bit of the concern, a bit of the consideration point for sure. I think he's good. Rins, I think, is really good. He has that crazy factor, but at this point, especially after the YEB effect, why not just pick Sans? If you want that crazy guy that can flicker forward and do all that stuff, we've already said it before, like, Rins seems to be a less polished Sans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, with those factors, if you're gonna make an argument for Rins, then you can make an even better argument for Sans. So I feel like Moreno ain't a bad shot. For me, it has to be between him and Sans for sure at this point. Which is crazy, right? Because Sans has been on a dip for the longest time. In a week, he's like already in the conversation. Because a boy is also in the picture, right?
Surely.
Not this
This season, no.
Without Baloy, I don't think so.
I see, like, it's a combi thing again.
Yeah, just for the package, I'm picking Rids too.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know what? Because of the package, you can't have Edok without Rins.
Did we just draft RQ the whole? Nah.
No.
Okay.
The jungle is not on. We
Okay.
didn't
But
get...
Edok
Well,
without Rins
XRQ.
still performs fine, though.
No, Edok needs Rins. Rins needs Edok, I think. That's the combo that we need right now for... Yeah, so I think Rins, Edok. Fuck it. Yeah.
Gold.
But shout out to Moreno. Gold.
But do you really feel like if they had to play without each other, it would make them like lose that much performance? That's interesting. Because I feel like it has an impact, which is why I brought it up. But I feel like with time, with time trying it out, like playing with a different mid lane for Edok or Rins playing with a different roamer than Edok, I think they can still perform. It's gonna be a dip, but it won't be a game changing kind of dip, in my opinion. But also there's also the fact that they're also kind of relatively new. And we all know that with experience comes the flexibility. So since they're new, that maybe I can see where that concern can come through. That like they're so new that they can't really adapt to different players just yet. So what's the vote here?
Rins.
So Rins Edok? Dang, really? Because I thought you were. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I think you've been pretty vocal saying that Rins isn't there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So is it just because of the combi factor?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
It's important. And Rins is the main shot caller in RQ. So you need, if you want Edok and you want someone who shot calls to fit Edok, it has to be Rins.
But what if they have a different shot caller from like a different team?
It wouldn't work because you have Edok. If you want, then sub off Edok. Take someone out. Take someone in. I need Edok. Edok's the best roam by a
Easily.
mile right now. Easily in Indo. I don't think anyone comes close right now. At this point.
But if you do,
Why you don't
Yeah,
want
you're
Rins?
RQ fan, bro.
no, I'm being realistic here. Okay, I love the guy. It would be great if you can see both of them by all means. But I'm just trying to throw the what ifs out there. You know, like how would it look if we actually went with like Moreno Edok? You know what I mean?
No shot caller.
Is it just? I don't know. You agree?
Doesn't sound right to me.
Okay. I mean, cool. I'll take it. You know, I have no issue with Rins at all. We were disagreeing on this when I said he was initially when he first showed up. I said I thought he was better than you thought he was.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just saying. It's not like I'm against Rins. Who said that? Motherfucker, trying to start controversy.
Yeah. I don't think Rins individually is as good as Sans or Moreno.
Yeah.
That's still for me. I'm not saying he is. It's just he's better for the team.
That's
For Edok. Gold. This is a tough one. We don't.
We can't go Eman.
If Iman was in there, I think 100% already. This guy's already saying Chidera for sure.
What?
This guy is already saying Chidera for sure. I mean, by the looks of it,
I mean, who else?
I gotta think about it real quick right now.
Do you want to put maybe in?
Oh, maybe he's so good in gold though. You're
Not
right.
yet,
Yeah.
bro. Not yet.
Not yet, exactly, but he's so good.
I think in the early weeks it would have been Erlan.
Yeah.
In the early weeks.
I would have gone Erlan. But
Oh my
right now
God.
he isn't
Oh
even
my God.
playing. Indonesian gold. Damn, we don't really. Skylar, get him out of retirement. Honestly,
you
get him
know
out of
what?
retirement.
Dang.
Believe it or not,
Can he
I
do
don't
that?
think that
Can he do
that's a
that?
bad shout.
Like if yeah.
The thing is, Chidera also a lot of times relies heavily on Baloyskie, right?
Exactly.
And you can't really put Edok. You can be the replacement for Baloy. Like, I don't think that's realistic.
Yeah. If I could choose, I would be like Skylar. We need you, dog. We need you.
But if we can't go with Skylar.
This is like a heist movie, you know, like you son of a bitch. I'm in. Gold master. Retired veteran skid from Key and Field. Yeah. I think Skylar. But if we can't choose Skylar, we have to choose someone active.
That's rough.
Oh Lord.
What do you feel about who's Geek Fam's Golden?
Kenziski?
Kenzie?
Nah.
No, not
bro.
yet. For the same reason
Not
as
yet, right? Not yet.
Yeah.
fuck. This is a tough one.
I'm telling you, it's still Chidera to be honest.
Toy, probably Toy then.
Brag.
I mean, if we have to choose right now, the most consistent one is Toy from Indo, right? Like Indo Gold.
Yeah,
Obviously,
but
I'm not number one, but Toy.
Combination bonus.
Yeah, I think it'll be
And
Toy.
It's a combi bonus as well. Again, synergy.
I think it's just Toy. So it's Toy with a different. It's RQ with a different jungle, basically.
Yeah. So the situation is staying with Onyx back then.
Yeah. It was
Onyx
Onyx
for
with
Albert.
Albert. Yeah.
But do you think this is right now a downgrade compared to what we have back then? If it's the RQ plus Albert.
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I think it's the same. I think it's the same because like that Onyx roster relies heavily on Kai too. You know, like Kai was a key factor in their wins, and they were suited for Kai's playstyle. That's why when Albert stepped in, it didn't really fit that well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is it is what it is. This is the lineup that I think is probably gonna give us the best shot at beating that bullshit lineup of the Philippines. That ridiculous lineup of the Philippines. Yeah. That's it. I think.
So Toy.
I think Toy, right?
Okay.
Like who else?
I mean, you guys picked Toy anyway, so I don't really have.
Skylar out of retirement.
Yeah.
That's
Very cool.
for me.
Okay, always.
So just to recap, Tyron,
Edok.
Albert Makits,
Yeah.
Edok, Rins, Toy.
Yep.
So RQ with Makits and Albert. That's actually a pretty good lineup, honestly. 'Cause
Against the Philippines.
that's a pretty good lineup. We don't talk about against the Philippines yet, okay? Because hey, we have synergy. They are an all-star lineup. We're just gonna use that.
Synergy better, bro.
Synergy better, bro. Let's go. All right, move on to the next topic. This is the final topic of the day. MPL PH playoff bracket. So I'm gonna show you guys right here the playoff bracket. We have Onyx Philippines taking on Twisted Minds. I think Onyx Philippines will get that win. Falcons versus TNC, and then upper brackets Rora and TLPH. So let's talk about the top teams here of the Philippines, right? Obviously, champion choice. I just want to ask you guys, who do you guys think is going to be the champions, and why you think that team is above the rest? Let's start with you, Cheffihn.
I mean, I think despite them not making to the upper bracket, it's still Onyx PH to lose, to be honest. At times they look just pretty much unstoppable, but you see a lot of MPH players saying winning MPL PH is really hard, the hardest trophy out there. So it's still up in the air, man. I don't think it's gonna be Onyx PH all the way, you know. And you can't really rule out the story of, we say geekable, is it twistable?
Twistable.
Nah.
It's not twistable. Just so that, we can try to make hopefully it is twistable. If it is twistable, we can see Onyx Philippines.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We
Let's
got
go.
one less S tier teams.
We have a chance. Take their spot away, Twisted Minds. No, I don't think it's twistable.
I mean, twistable is crazy, dude.
Twistable.
Hey, could we make the fans in the audience going? Anyway.
Well, that would be cool. Twisted Minds fans, I need you in the playoffs to just do this while you're up against Onyx PH. It's twisted, bro. So your choice is Onyx Philippines.
Yeah.
Because they're Onyx Philippines.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
I gotta agree, but a full disclaimer: I don't follow MPL PH as closely as Mirko does. So by all means, there might be a bunch of factors
Oh boy.
I'm not calculating properly. But based on what I know, and because I also spend most, I know Onyx PH. I hear about them, see them more than the rest. At least for now, from my perspective, I gotta go with Onyx PH still, because we have yet to see like a surefire way to beat them. Because the best, even if you have the best team and the best execution, it feels like beating them is still a bit of a 50. It's a risk type of thing. There's no surefire way, so they're still bulletproof when it comes to shutting them down completely. And every single one of their players can be considered all-star worthy. So I really feel like it's still gonna be them. But again, if it's any other team, that's still, as always, we like to see unexpected things happen in Mobile Legends. So I'm not against any of that at all.
Yeah. So Onyx Philippines.
Yes.
Okay. I think
Liquid.
Liquid
Yeah.
Philippines, baby.
We all see that. We all see that.
These
coming.
these are my boys. If I have BTR Indo, I have TLPH in the Philippines. These are the boys. They made one small change. This is what I like about the Philippines.
They failed last season. They lost in the first day. And then now the only change they made is OHEB in. And I think OHEB in, I've said this before when they announced that OHEB was coming in. This could be a really bad move or a really good move. Because in a way, OHEB is a very passive dude. Like the way he plays, with Blacklist. He's always very passive. He plays like with the team, Ube, protected. And we see that now with TLPH. They've kind of like changed the style in a way where they still protect OHEB. So it's a mix of both. I was saying it's either going to be OHEB's going to be too passive for the team or the team's going to be too aggressive for OHEB, right? Either one would be bad. They somehow managed to make it work really well, where they keep the aggressive style, but they still keep the identity of OHEB is a guy we need to kind of like play front to back with. In their last match against Rora, game 1, I just did a review on it. The way they play front to back is so good. It really is. And the decision making of these veterans, mainly Carl, the fucking GOAT. This guy's still disgusting. Really, this guy is so good. I think this is EVOS basically of Philippines because they always shine in the odd numbered seasons. Really, this is always what happens. Remember last 13?
Season 15?
Yeah.
Is he was shining though?
But we don't talk about EVOS, we're talking about TLPH here. Last time, odd number, they won. They weren't even the favorites to win. AP Brent were the favorites to win, season 13. But TLPH, maybe it's JP's fault. Let's go. So I think it's going to be JP's fault all over again, hopefully. But I will have to say, Rora's kind of scary too. Rora's up there, Rora's up there. I think for me, the 3 teams that can win, TL, OnlyPH, Rora.
Wow, you're leaving AP Brand?
I'm leaving out Falcons. Yeah.
Despite them winning SIBOL.
I think because they've won SIBOL. We haven't seen...
So they shifted their focus there, or...
Maybe.
I don't
Who
think
knows?
So,
Who knows?
Win
But
all the way.
because right now, since I think for a while, it's always been PH champion, PH rep for MSC, always different to SIBOL rep. When AP Bren represented the Philippines, they weren't the champions. They were freaking 4th place. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like when they were IESF, they were 4th place of season 11. Yeah.
I mean, either way, it's gonna be scary.
Exactly. I think that's my take on the.
That's fair.
But for TLPH, the reason I think they're really good is because they're very brawly. Seriously, like the TLPH is the most brawly MPL Philippines team. They're the most Indonesian, technically. If we're talking Indonesia as a brawl server, they're the most Indonesian MPL Philippines team. But they have that, like, another level to it. Like, they don't just... For us, we brawl, right? A lot of times. Most of the teams just brawl for nothing. They brawl, but the setups, the decision-making, it's so instant. It's so instant. It's a gamble. Every time they play, it's a fucking gamble. And it looks weird sometimes when they lose, especially. It looks very awkward. It looks like, why? But when they win, it all makes sense. It's like, wow. Like, they know, they are so sure of their mechanics. They're so sure of their decision making. They're so confident in everything they do that the gambles make sense. I think we can only say that about a few teams in Indo. Bigatron Alpha, best team in the world.
Really? You think so? Bigatron has like the gambling style?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They are the gamble.
Not throwing shade, but I really felt like Bigatron is a lot more textbook rather than gambly. I don't know. Yeah, like I haven't seen moves where like, okay, this shouldn't make sense, but if we kind of like risk it and try and catch the opponents off guard, we might get something like that. I don't see from Bigatron. I feel like I don't know.
You agree with this?
Bigatron part?
Yeah, Bigatron being a gamble team, like they go for a lot of risks, and like they just fight.
Well, I mean, the teams that I consider gambling the most is probably the bottom tier teams.
Well, no, but like we're talking about the high top teams.
High tier gamble.
Because I feel like I don't know if you've been watching like different MPLs. Bigatron have always won on that. Against EVOS, it was the team fight gambles last late game.
Light and Finn.
Moreno stealing Lord. Annabelle stealing Lord. Like it's the big stuff. It's always the big gambles that make them win. It's never just like consistent win and then in. Like even in their losses, they would start
gamble.
What gamble?
The Annabelle going in. I don't think that was a gamble. They had to kind of, right?
Exactly, that's a gamble. Like he could have just stayed in the base and defended with the team. They had Novaria, they had everything. They could have just defended, but they decided to fight. They kept
Well,
on
I guess
fighting.
for those matches, I would agree.
When Anavel died against RRQ game 1, when they still fought 4v5, that was a gamble again. Like they have Kimmy, they were still in the lead 4K. They stole a Lord. They fought and they won.
So those moments, the way I see it, it's more like they're in a weird spot, and they're kind of like, there's not much of a better alternative almost.
No.
I gotta
Why
agree
would
with
you-
Arashi, to be honest.
Wait, listen.
Mhm.
Why the fuck would you fight 4v5 when your main damage dealer 6-1 died? Your jungler. Why the fuck would you fight Lord?
Because
I think the
if
point.
if you just kite and there's opportunity presented, then
No, so, I think.
went in, bro.
Right. So I think my thing is that it doesn't feel like they set up for it. You get what I mean?
No, that's why it's a gamble. They don't set up for it. They're just like, fuck, we gotta fight.
Because when you're talking about it earlier, it felt like they make calculated gambles, if that makes sense. So there's moments where, in theory, it won't work, but then they have this idea that, hey, we can make it work. So we're gonna set up to try and go for a fight or a contest, even when, logically speaking, numbers speaking, they shouldn't win. So that's how I was picturing gamble. For Bigatron, no shade, but it felt like, oh shit, we're stuck. Fuck, YOLO. And to me, that doesn't sound like, when we say calculated gamble, that just sounds like gamble, not calculated gamble. So it just feels like they get pressured into something, and then they YOLO it.
Yeah.
And it's worked out. But then that's a different impression from what I got from when you were describing Team Liquid Team Liquid PH. Which is why when you said like, oh, they're the gamble team. Yeah, but like, I guess it's that's the main difference is that the calculated part.
Okay.
So for Bigatron, it doesn't seem like it's calculated. It's just YOLO. So yeah.
So are they gamble? Do they gamble? That's the whole point, right? Because when I said Bigatron are gamble, I didn't say they're calculated just like TL. They're as good as TL. But the gamble, they do take these risks and they fight for it. Because they are a gamble team. So the point is, you said they gamble, so are they...
Because we are comparing between the two, right? So
No, I'm just like, it's not comparing, no.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like saying, from Indonesia, we have BTR, who are like gambles, who takes those gambles. They're not, I'm not saying they're as good as TL or they make those calculated gambles like TL.
Okay. Because for me, because when we were talking about like gamble teams, in a way, RRQ comes to mind. In a sense that sometimes they'll be a man down, but then like EDOC will go in, knowing that, oh, I can get a 4-man implosion, and if I do get it, even if we're 1 man down, we can still get a win. I've seen like moments like that happen.
I disagree. I disagree a lot. I think RRQ... Sorry.
But yeah, before those moments, that's what it happens when they're like behind. So like when they're behind, they're willing to do crazy shit to try and maybe get a big play. So calculated gamble in a sense, the way I see it. But when they're usually like when things are just normal, stable, they're a lot more textbook.
They are the textbook team.
Yeah. So the way I see it, that's it. Like that's they play differently when they're even or ahead, and when they're behind. So I feel like they do a lot of really risky shit when they're behind. Because there's sometimes where I'm on duty and I'm like, whoa, wait, they're going for this? And then they make it work somehow. And it turns out they had a plan. Even though they're behind on gold or they're man down. That's the way I see it. But by all means, like, that's just me, right? Yeah.
Cheffihn, what about you?
I mean, like, it really, what's the definition of gambling here first? Because I feel like when even though you're down 4v5, when you have a landslot, at that point in time, is it really gambling if you're trying to steal the Lord when you know that your teammates can, somehow make a space for you to actually execute it?
But there's no space. He was alone. He just ulted in. Could have costed the game. Could have been like, oh, died, not get Lord, and then lose out. I think anything in the late game like that, where it could just be like game ending, game winning, is considered like high risk, high reward, which is what gamble
I guess
is.
the risk is really high, yes, but I feel like in a way defending the base when you're down is more gambly than actually
When you
trying to
have
steal.
Navaria and Kimmy,
Depends on the Lord, I think, right?
it depends on the Lord as well.
Yeah,
It was
if
that
it's
point. It wasn't
evolved.
evolved as well.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I gotta see the replay.
Yeah.
Maybe I just misremember a thing.
But for me, I don't think RRQ are in any way
Yeah, that's the
gamble at all. Like,
least gambly.
because you said Bigatron or textbook. No, if RRQ the most textbook team. I think we've seen that. Whenever they get to late game, they lose. Like that's how you beat RRQ a lot of times. You bring them to late game and then you make it super messy and they're just like, holy fuck, we can't go and like we can't make these gambles. We can't. We're a systemized team. That's Cute style. And every time it gets to a point where that's how Onyx PH beat them, that's how Onyx ID beat them, that's how RRQ beat them. It's always when the formula doesn't work. They're like textbook Cute. This is Cute systemized RRQ. When it doesn't go this way, it's a clown show.
I think that's fair. I think, yeah, I was more tunneled on like the fact that they do make like the risky plays, but they do it in a textbook fashion. So I guess it's not exactly like a gamble. I think I'll agree on that. Yeah, that's fair.
So there you go. Some discussions towards the end. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? What do you think about TLPH, about the playstyle of Onyx Philippines as well? Because, man, I think we're getting to a point in MLBB where it's not just about macro anymore. Like, macro used to be the most important thing, but now we're seeing a lot of teams just be able to make those decisive plays. TLPH 5,000 goal behind. I don't think a lot of times like calculated, but also in a way we gotta trust in our guts, you know? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section down below about all the discussions about the UDIL thing, about the EVOS downfall, about YEB, about Baloyskie. We had a couple of fun conversations here and there. A lot of great points to make. So, boom. You guys want to say anything before we end the show?
I think we said enough. It's a good episode. I like this format a lot better because like we actually focus on things that we actually want to talk about and things that we think people want to know about instead of just like generic info on what happened on the week. So I think this is better.
Not Navi 011 for the fifth time, right?
011. Oh, that was
Cheffihn?
This is not opinion. This is just the late facts. Next week, by the end of week 7, Geek Fam number 1, RQ number 2.
What the?
Damn! All right, dude.
This is the Idris Elba clip. Like, what the fuck?
Make it try to win MPL ID. See you guys in the next episode.